So today's video was sponsored by Microbot, which is a bouncing bullet game with complex mechanism. I mean, it takes a whole load of skill, okay? And trust me, I've been playing this so many hours, okay? Genuinely, whenever I've got free time, I'm on this game, in every situation. And I'm telling you, okay, it is by far one of the hardest games I've played, but it's super addicting. And guess what? It is free now, available for the iPhone and Android, so you got no excuses, okay? Put your skills to the test by downloading the game. The link is in the description below. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Just Cause 4 show. I believe we're on episode 7 now, which truly is amazing. As always, thank you for the continued support on the series. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, there is now a playlist, so you can go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description below. But before we get into the awesome topics, as always suggested by you rebels, I just want to make a little quick disclaimer sort of thing, kind of give you guys a brief overview, if you will, if you're new to the series. So basically, it is just a series where we talk about cool things that we would like to see in Just Cause 4, with the hopes that developers can take these certain things on board, of course providing that there is a high demand for it. Now, as always, if you guys have an awesome topic that you want me to talk about on something you'd like to see personally in Just Cause 4, all you have to do is drop it in the comment section below and just thumbs up comments that you see really on ideas you like, and the ones that get the most thumbs up are the ones that of course get spoke about. But that being said, today I believe we have 3 awesome topics to talk about. So the first one is about having multiple cities in Just Cause 4, the second one is about running in the game, and finally more realism when it comes down to civilians, so kind of like violent civilians and so. I mean, you guys can see the comments. So let's jump straight into this episode. So of course the first one is talking about the multiple cities, and I would just like to say I really do love this idea, right? And it's so relevant because the Just Cause series, as a whole, their maps are ridiculously big. I mean, even bigger than GTA 5's map. But like I say every single time, you just won't see it because of course GTA 5, it's way more in depth when it comes down to the small details and so. And they've even got different sections of the map, right? And just by doing something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean your map has to be ridiculously big, but it separates different sections, therefore of course just giving your mindset really a larger perspective. So multiple cities is definitely, without a single doubt, that I know could happen in Just Cause 4, because the map in Just Cause 3, I feel like it was just really big, and don't get me wrong, it was fun, but there was a lot of wasted space in the game, and most of that I feel personally was just filled up with sea, when there could have been loads of different things going on. But even if you didn't really want to see it in that perspective, there was still way more than enough room to kind of break things down into counties, or not counties, but you know what I mean, just genuinely separate locations, right? So it's not just all Medici. I mean, even though it was nice, it's always nice to have that extra bit more variety. So multiple cities is definitely something I'd like to see in the game. And who knows, maybe one part of the city can just be way more worse than the other side. So there can be kind of a rich side and a posh side, and then kind of a medium, and then you just want to go straight into poverty and all that kind of shit, right? Because hey, we're looking on the storyline for the Just Cause series, and it's always about war essentially. So it'd be nice to see there's gonna be a nice area, kind of in Just Cause 3 where SuperRebel lives, right? That's essentially the city, and that's it's quite a nice place, I guess, if you want to compare it to other parts. So hopefully we can see something similar to that. Now the next topic is about running, and I just want to breeze through this one really quick. And it's funny because it's such a small little feature, but the demand for it is actually super big, and it doesn't surprise me, even though there's a lot of arguments to it, because I remember talking about this way back when Just Cause 3 came out. I was I was genuinely upset that there wasn't a running option, and it kind of felt weird simply because every open world video game that I've personally played, you know, there's always been an option for you to run with your character, and even if it's not like continuously tapping a button, it's like you gotta either click an analog or like push it down and it will automatically start running for a certain amount of time. So as a player, and I know you guys can relate to this definitely, it's just something that you kind of adapt to, and it becomes an expectation more than just a feature, if that makes sense. So back when that happened, I was like super gutted, right? And there was a lot of arguments to it, because the biggest argument was, well, why do you want to be able to run in the game if you've got a grapple hook? And I get it, right? Like, why would you want to do that? But that being said, you can go back to Just Cause 2 and, you know, the option was there to run and you still had a grappling hook then. So even though when you ran and it felt like the freaking whole map was shaking and you really felt like you're not even sprinting at all, at least it was an option, right? But I think it's safe to say that not only myself, but I'm gonna assume you guys have kind of like dealt with this as well, and it's simply that when you've got like a heat level, right, and you've got loads of people shooting at you, attacking you, whatever, and you kind of want to get away from just that moment in like that specific second, you kind of grapple to something you don't want to grapple to, right? So it kind of essentially fucks everything up, more or less, and then of course it all turns to absolute poop. So I mean, I can definitely see where a running option can come in handy, because it's a small feature but essentially can save you in like the stickiest situations. So I personally can approve that. I would love to see that in Just Cause 4. Now, moving on to the last topic, which is one of the most interesting ones for me, and it kind of relates to the first topic we was talking about, which was of course multiple cities in the game. Now, it's about violent civilians and civilians reacting more realistically to war, because right now the way we see it with Just Cause 3 is, you know, SuperRebel is the dictator and everyone is, as far as it looks, his bitch. And I mean, that's genuinely as far as it goes. I mean, it seems like everyone's sweet as, like with everything going on in the world, there's beaches. I mean, even though like you don't see a lot of activity going on, I mean, there's still people on the fucking beaches, right? Like, you wouldn't really be able to tell anyone's like depressed. If that makes sense. I can't really think of another way to say it to give everyone, you know, the same sort of perspective that I'm getting here. But violent civilians and them just being more realistic to what's going on in the map would definitely be, you know, very essential, because again, it's a small feature but adds that a little bit of density and in-depth map features that, you know, really make it overall feel a whole lot more bigger, and there's loads of different things going on. And I know we all get that Rico is the hero, and like I said to you, I wanted to relate this to the first topic about the multiple cities. So as I was saying, you know, you've got like the kind of like high-end sort of city, the medium, and then the just straight absolute shite area where like everyone hates whoever's in charge, like full on. And then going back to the posh area, like they're okay, because as long as you're rich, like it doesn't really matter, okay? And then medium people are like still pissed, and then the poor people are just completely fucking pissed. So I can see that working, because I can see people kind of turning against Rico, right? Because like I said, it's nice kind of like having everyone be your fans sort of thing, but if you're going there and you're going to different areas, it'd be great to see different areas react to you differently, because if you go, and I know I keep mentioning this, you go to the high-end, you know, side of the map, you know, everyone hates you, right? Because you're doing something that's going to ruin their lifestyle. But then everyone in the medium and then like the complete absolutely shite areas, they kind of like are okay with you, if that makes sense. Or you can just get random people come up and attack you simply because they don't like you. I mean, all of that falls under realism, like 100%, and I can definitely see it playing off in a really good way. And as I say, you know, overall, it really adds a whole nother little, I guess you could say, field of fun, if you can say. Like it opens a lot more doors to just having ridiculous amounts of fun. And who knows what we can expect on that category, but I know it's a lot of things that you guys want to see. So the demand there is definitely like quite high. So get in the comment section below anyway, and let me know what you think about all of those topics. If you have any other ideas, of course drop them in the comment section below. Get as crazy as you like, as wacky as you like, as long as it sounds cool, it will make it into the video, okay? So drop those in the comment section below. As always, if you missed the previous episodes, there is now a playlist. All you gotta do is click the playlist and you can literally be up to date in the space of like half hour, pretty much, with all the episodes that we have done. But nonetheless, guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, smack a like, subscribe for more awesome content, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, I hope you have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, but adios amigos.